You also get knee issues.
We
We talked about it the last
I
episode.
straight up have knee issues. It's not that I get
Oh my
them.
God. Can you tell the pod why you have knee issues?
Because I am 6 feet tall since birth, and I was a catcher
They
for
made
softball
you be the catcher.
for 2 years. And that's not a position for tall people.
This woman has been 6 foot tall since they were 3 years old. And imagine making a 6 foot tall woman be catcher.
Yeah, I finally got moved to first base and really hit
That's
my stride.
so fucked up.
To be fair, I asked for it. So
Pregnant pause.
it was my fault. I wanted to be pitcher, but then since it's softball and it's harder to be a pitcher there, a lot of air balls.
Oh.
Yeah. And they were like, why would you try catcher? And I was like, okay.
Okay.
I felt important because I had to put on all the gear.
Oh, yeah.
I was pretty good at it.
Should have been a sign then that you were gay.
Probably was.
Dykes on spikes. I got my own.
You were third base?
No, you were captain.
Captain is not a position on the field.
You don't have to be catcher when
Realistically,
you're captain.
that's pitcher. Default captain's pitcher. Even if you're not the best player, it's unfortunately still the pitcher. It's always the pitcher. And the pitcher's always the coach's daughter. A little softball. And everyone's gay. Except the most likely person who's not gay on a softball field is the pitcher. Funny enough.
I don't know. I feel like I fucked a pitcher. Oh, room went silent. I can't fuck a pitcher?
Yeah, I wouldn't guess. That wasn't their main position.
You wouldn't Oh, them.
Yeah.
I was like, you're insulting me.
They
podcast.
pitched once.
Oh.
Wait, what position were you? I can't remember.
And
I guessed third.
Did you? And?
Outfield. You gotta be a runner in outfield.
You used to.
Yeah.
Little legs, fast motion.
Yeah. Long legs. Powerful swing. This is different. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got the legs, I had the arms. My running? Horrendous. Took me like 10 minutes to get to first base after I hit. But I hit home runs. So it was just like a really long jog around.
Oh my God. It was painful for the other. They're like, damn, she's intentionally going slow.
They're like, she's fucking rubbing us in our
Milking
face.
it.
And I'm like sprinting as hard as I can.
The knees are just blown from having to squat the game prior. Because they just decided, you know what, let's utilize this 6 foot woman.
She can do something for us. I'm certain.
So I know the assistant coach looked to the head coach and was like, does she need to be out there squatting this whole time?
Meanwhile, sometimes I just crouch. I wouldn't even go to the squat. And the ump, who's shorter than me, was like, girl, you gotta get down. I can't see.
You're just crouching. You're just bent. We're back.
And deader than ever.
I'm Tamara.
And I'm Kelly.
And this is
Ghoul Bees. This is my favorite.
You're getting really good at the timing.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm, again, overwhelmed.
Tell me.
I said overwhelmed the last episode, and this one as well.
I'm in perpetual overwhelmedness. Tell me why.
I started ain't nothing but a new job.
Incredible.
New job, new problems. Also in school, obviously. And also wanting to do, other hobbies like this thing.
Incredible.
There's a lot going on. A lot of moving parts.
How was your first day?
First day was honestly fine. Really quick day. It was quick, and I feel like I'm more qualified than I need to be for this position.
Yeah.
So it's hard watching it from I intentionally took a lower role instead of the one that was originally offered to me, so that I have less responsibility and I can, just have a shorter schedule, make money, and exist.
Yeah, nothing's your problem.
Nothing is my problem.
Yeah.
But that being said, I like to have control, and I can see where the holes in this system are.
Yeah.
And I can't fix them because it's not my job. I don't want to, because then they're going to start doing that.
Yeah.
And I have been in a position before where I couldn't take time off because I would be guilted
Yeah.
That I like.
Oh my God.
Do?
Pandemic was horrible. It was the best thing for your mental health. You know what I mean?
I literally convinced myself I manifested the pandemic.
I know, but it did need to happen.
COVID was my fault.
I remember us sitting in that crappy little restaurant and we were both like, we need to quit. We need to quit now. And then I was like, I got laid off, baby. I'm living the high life.
Yeah. I got laid off really quickly with the first job. I got furloughed and I was like, oh, I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Literally never set foot in that building again.
Never.
Since 2020. And now we have a podcast.
Here we are, baby. The pandemic helped me spiral to my bottom, which in turn helped me get on the journey to become the person I most want to be, which I'm still on today.
We're all on a journey. We're all on a bridge.
That was a great transition. But first, what are you drinking?
I am drinking.
What are you sipping on?
We're both sipping espresso martinis.
Yes.
Not bubbles, but beans and grain alcohol.
Grain alcohol always makes me think of like a backwoods moonshine situation.
I mean, it's vodka. Is that grain?
I don't know.
Potatoes. Starch.
Perfect. So it's vodka and
espresso from Lavazza.
Lavazza, I feel like is in every hotel room in America.
I wish.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, at least Lavazza, like they have like coffee, in cafes and stuff. I feel like we've had like powdered Nescafe,
Yeah. I hear you. Nescafe is in a lot as well. Lavazza's in like the little upscale ones because it's okay. The espresso is harsh, but good.
Yeah.
And
this is our second espresso martini. We did film an
espresso.
Our second espresso.
I bet it's so funny. Not on they can't hear the echo.
We have an audience today and they can't hear the echo, but they will.
We have a live studio audience. Like 1.5, really. 1 and 1.
That's a whole person.
1.5. He's not listening. Yeah, so
we filmed an espresso.
Yes,
available.
Patreon. You can join our Patreon to get extra content, including the espressos, where we rate and review and just shoot the shit while drinking espresso martinis, coffee-themed alcohol and or substances.
All under 30 minutes.
Yes, all under 30 minutes.
It's quick like espresso. It's an espresso martini. And we are 2 weenies.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So yeah, join our Patreon, go on there and follow, donate, give us love, give us support. Join us on Patreon and email us stories.
Email us any ghost story you have. I know you've seen a ghost. I know you haven't told anybody about it, but you can tell us at ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com.
We don't have to read your name. You can be just say don't read my name.
Or make one up.
Yeah. Or DM us on Instagram.
Anywhere you want to, I want to hear it.
Please.
And we're going to share it.
Right.
We won't have to use your name.
No, I'll say it was me, if anything.
Yeah, if you want to.
Also, if you don't have any extra money, go to Apple Podcasts and give us love and support that way. Rate us. For
Review
the love of
us.
God, leave us a comment. I just want to read. Oh my God, we actually got another comment.
Pow!
Read it. I can't.
Give it to me.
It's on my Mac. I'll have to go get it.
Oh my God.
Pause.
Okay, pause for Mac.
Okay, so we have a beautiful review
on
Apple Podcasts. Please go leave a review, 5 stars, and you can do it on Audible too. Whoa. Audible. You can do it on Audible as well. And we'll read it on the pod. So this one is titled Best Ghoulies. And it's by a dear friend, Maddie Page Hill.
Oh.
She says, these 2 ghoulies never fail to make me laugh and cry scary tears. I love your humor and all of your ghost stories. Definitely one of my favorite podcasts.
Wow. Thank you.
Maddie, you're so sweet. You've proven this is
yourself.
Martini.
I know, they're hitting.
You've proven that you actually listen, so that's
time
great.
and time again has really participated with the pod.
Truly. Oh my God.
Written
That's really
in.
Incredible. We should go
How's
visit
your
her.
haunted Jeep? And also, it's Nashville, so it's haunted as fuck. There's the
Let's
Smoky Mountains.
The Smoky Okies. I don't really want to go fuck around in there, though.
Who's fucking around? I'm just saying, just like visiting.
We're about to under a fucking bridge.
So that brings us to the episode. And this episode is a local lore live. Meaning that we're going to talk about the episode, and then eventually we're going to go take a break, literally in the middle of recording this.
I was going to say eventually, like in 20 minutes.
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And go under the Bloomingdale Bridge. And that's why.
It's dark. It's dark out. We waited for the dark for you guys.
It's currently 8-something p.m.
on a Saturday night.
This is what we're doing. So this episode, we're going to talk about a bunch of haunted bridges to set the tone. That being said, let's begin with a bridge in Cherry Valley, Illinois. So this one is pretty local. This is the Bridges of Blood's Point in Cherry Valley, Illinois. A cornucopia of urban legends have attached themselves to this hair-raisingly named rural avenue, its neighboring bridges, and the cemetery of the same name. Along the road, visitors have reported seeing phantom vehicles and a dog with glowing red eyes. According to legend, the railroad bridge was a scene of a deadly school bus accident, as well as more than one hanging. These hangings have also been attributed to an older wooden bridge along nearby Sweeney Road.
Gross.
In one gruesome story, a van full of children coming back from a birthday party spun out of control and plummeted off the side of the bridge.
No.
The driver, who was wearing a clown suit,
ew, what the fuck?
Because it was a birthday party.
No.
Can still sometimes be seen clawing his way back in the distance back onto the road. Yikes.
Who?
It's a field.
Who
It's a road.
let their kid drive home with a clown?
It's a van full of kids and the dad probably of the kid.
The van, the windowless van of this clown.
I'm reading.
That's disgusting.
So then imagine driving on a road and over here in like literally the Great Plains, you can see far as fuck, and imagine like seeing a clown crawling through the grass. It's
like in 2016 when all those clowns just started like happening.
I bet you these people had a field day with this long-standing story then.
Oh, that's true.
The cemetery at the end of the road is said to be visited by a wide variety of phenomenon, from orbs to a phantom dog to a vanishing barn to disembodied laughter of children and electrical malfunctions.
Ugh.
Blood's Point was named after Arthur Blood, the first white settler of Flora Township. Some locals maintain that he brought a curse with him that remains there to this day.
That's disgusting. Are there any people that like have seen anything?
So, I have a story of people who weren't there.
Okay.
But we're simply talking about it.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I'm
yes.
So excited.
So, this is from Reddit user mwoodrow77.
Okay.
And it's under the page r/paranormal encounters.
Gross.
This morning, roughly about 4:30 to 5:30 a.m., it was still dark outside. My boyfriend and I were in bed, and we just got home from work, since we work a night shift. We were eating breakfast in bed, and we were also watching a series of YouTube videos of a paranormal group, and we paused the video as my boyfriend was telling me a story of his experience near his hometown in Illinois. Specifically, he was telling me about a place called Blood's Point, and the local legends and etc. Keep in mind, we are in our older 30s and we weren't spooking ourselves. We are level-headed and realists. Okay. They're like,
fair enough.
We're like, not super ghosty.
Right.
Now, when it comes to the paranormal experiences, I've had my share ever since I was a kid. Oh, that's a turn.
Yeah.
So she's saying like we weren't like going out of our way to get scared.
Right. Like us. We go out of our way to get scared.
Yeah. Oh, I was saying like, no, we
go out of right. Not like us.
Yeah.
Fair.
When I do have an encounter, I don't freak out. I will try and debunk the moment before I tell myself, okay, that really just happened. Okay, so she's pretty level-headed.
Yeah.
As soon as we finished our discussion, we kind of sat there for a second, and my boyfriend started to say something again about Blood's Point, and all of a sudden, we both heard a noise that we've never heard. I personally never heard the sound before in our home, or my previous homes, and this applies to him as well. The sound we heard was the sound of someone clicking their tongue, and it was loud.
Shut the fuck up.
It was loud enough to be heard over my boyfriend talking, and when we heard it, we both turned in the same direction from where we felt it came from.
Oh, I have full body chills.
The sound, I don't know the formal term, but the only similar sound, if I can make any kind of comparison, would almost be like a giant drop of water hitting a bucket full of water, kind of like a distorted clock. So like,
yeah.
I tried to research online to see if anyone else had ever had this happen to them, and it was a bit of a dead end, with the exception of the movie Hereditary.
Shut the fuck up.
When I saw a clip of the movie, the mom driving distraughtly alone in her car shortly after her daughter's death, and out of nowhere, a single disembodied clock sound was heard. The hairs on my arm raised up. That was the exact sound. I'm a bit concerned.
Same, girl.
The few experiences I've read online about others having this experience ended up resulting in a demonic spirit in their home.
No, really? That's horrifying.
Or that it is a demon trying to manifest.
We do not claim this energy.
Has anyone ever heard of this or have any knowledge about a disembodied
Oh my God.
sound? That's the whole story.
That's
so
so scary.
About
she's like
point.
looking for clarification. Like she's looking for advice
like,
on it. Yeah. Oh my God.
So that was the whole story. Like even just them talking about it. I don't know where they were located at the time, but she was just saying that her boyfriend's from right near, probably in Cherry Valley and Blood's Point.
I'm upset.
So that's somewhere we can visit.
No thanks, actually.
In the cemetery, it said that there's like orbs.
Girl, my head is spinning.
True.
I am never
We went to Cuba Road, girl.
I shall not.
In the White Cemetery, which was listed higher than this one.
I shall not place my presence near a clown crawling out of a lake. That shan't be where I go.
Crawling in a field towards your car.
Can't. That's horrifying. And that's also information that I didn't really need to know. That whole like clicking thing. Like that's scary. I'm going to be on edge for the rest of my life.
Oh.
Anytime someone's like being tisked.
Yeah. But so that was the Bridges of Blood's Point.
Yeah.
And that was somewhere that if you're in the Midwest, you can, especially if you're in Wisconsin, you can just like drive down and go see it.
That's horrifying. Don't do that. My story is not as horrifying as that. Fine. So the bridge that I chose to look up is the bridge of Lakey's Creek.
Okay.
Lake E, like lake, and then with a Y. And this is in Hamilton County, Illinois. And so it was... Man, this is a strong martini.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry. So it's been known as Lakey's Creek since the 1830s because the man who it was named after settled there at that time. And he is the one who died near it, and so it was given that name. So this man, John Lakey, he settled there, and he wanted to build his cabin next to this lake so that he could easily like work on this lake, or not lake, sorry, this like creek, because it was like fresh water. He was doing his work from there, and his son-in-law murdered him before he got to complete his cabin, unfortunately, and his body was found propped against a tree.
Oh my God.
And his head had been chopped off with the same axe he had been using to like chop down the trees to build his home. So his body and head were buried near his unfinished cabin, and
they buried him there?
Yeah, they buried him there, and no one knows.
Where he was murdered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's also where his home was.
Yeah, but I just feel like you're like asking for it. You know
for sure.
Mean? You're like, you wanted to summon him.
And no one at this point knows like what the motives of the son-in-law were. Yeah. So I did also forget to mention, this was in the 1830s. This is the story of the Headless Horseman. So, Illinois' famous.
That's fun. Like Sleepy Hollow.
Exactly. So this story was immortalized. So, but this is that story. Wow,
I didn't know it originated in Illinois.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, these sightings that I'm going to speak of have, it's been a long tale. People have talked about it, lore,
Yeah.
for 200 years now, and people still, like, get the same experiences when they're near that area and the bridge that now crosses this creek.
Ooh.
So, it says typical witnesses report that they hear heavy horse hooves behind them as they cross the creek. And when they turn to see who is following them,
yeah,
there's no one there. There's no prints in the dirt and the path of a horse or anything like that.
The way it wouldn't have been that unbelievable too, because there are a lot of horses in
Seriously.
Illinois.
So then other people have heard the hooves, but when they turn, they see a large black horse with a headless rider on top. And that's like the classic tale of the headless horseman. And then they say that this horseman pursues them until they like are out of the area. So once they cross the creek.
Very Cuba Road.
Yeah. Once they cross the creek, the horseman like doesn't follow over. It like will stop, turn around, and disappear.
Damn, they don't make them like they used to. I love that like detail of like it. I don't know. It's so like fairy tale-esque.
For sure. And so the Lakey Creek area where his cabin was, and this bridge, other than like it's been turned into a modern bridge, but anything for like business purposes or housing, the creek is abandoned basically. So it's literally
So he's there.
Yeah, so it's literally just a modern bridge for cars to cross, but people still say that they see the headless horseman.
Oh my God, and his body's there.
Yeah, it's buried there still. It was never moved.
And we don't know where it's at because the ground has shifted.
Yeah, and most people, that's actually disgusting to think about. You're right, but like that's gross. I hate it. But yeah, so that is the story of the headless horseman. The bridge that and like the area, the creek that it was built on is here. And yeah, not many people know that the headless horseman had originated in Illinois.
I didn't even know that. So this next bridge.
Ew, you have like real notes. For some reason that grosses me out.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm proud of you. Great job. I hate it.
This next bridge is not so local,
Okay.
but I think it paints a nice, pretty picture like yours did.
Was it spooky?
Very.
It's gotta be. I knew that before I asked.
So this is called Helen's Bridge in Asheville, North Carolina.
No, thank you, Helen.
Helen.
Ew, I'm still thinking about the clicking thing. Like, I hate that. Stop. I'm
That's what it
grossed out. I know. Like, I'm scared. I know it's the alcohol, but I'm scared.
You have had 2 espresso martinis.
I'm gonna have another one before I go this bridge.
She
ain't crawling out towards me.
She doesn't crawl.
Not so weird. She's in my head. She crawls.
No, she doesn't though.
What's she gonna do?
She
gonna walk?
Yes.
No.
She comes out of like the neighboring like.
Shut the fuck up. What are you gonna say? Like a drain pipe? No. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Well, okay, we'll get it.
People are gonna think that was a boy just now. No, ma'am.
No, they're not. You did not. You don't sound like a boy.
I just
and
feel
even
like
if
I get
it
really
did,
aggressive. I get really aggressive.
I'm just really smart.
Yeah.
Helen's Bridge. Helen's Bridge in Asheville, North Carolina, is located on Bowcatcher Mountain. The bridge is very picturesque. It's covered in ivy growth, and the people who live there say that if you're not looking for it, you'll miss it, and if you are looking for it, you probably won't see it till you're directly under it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. It is an arched bridge. It's not really long. It's literally like a foot bridge.
Okay.
But I guess not because cars can go on it. It was built so that it would connect the Zealandia Mansion with the rest of the roads.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. The Zealandia Mansion was built in 1887. The present one was built in 1908 by Philip Henry, and the original mansion was built in 1887 by John E. Brown, who spent time in California and New Zealand, and then lived in the Zealandia Mansion until his wife passed.
Mm-hmm. Was her name Helen?
No.
Okay.
Helen, it kind of changed hands a lot.
Okay.
The Zealandia Mansion went through a lot of different owners. Currently, it's like a private business that owns it.
Oh, okay.
And the mansion itself is not haunted.
Oh, just the bridge.
Right. Helen was a woman in her mid-30s living in the mansion with her newborn child.
Okay.
A kitchen fire broke out, and while Helen was able to be resuscitated, her newborn was not.
Oh, no. I can imagine that. That's horrible.
So the legend goes is that Helen, with unbearable grief, hung herself from the bridge.
No.
Yeah, like her only reason for living, like she was like in a loveless marriage. Her only reason for living died. She hung herself from the bridge. And the urban legends around the people who live there go that if you drive your car under it and you turn your car off, you probably won't be able to turn it back on. And Helen will find you and ask you, "Do you have my baby?"
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, you can hear, And also you can hear a woman crying off in the distance.
Oof, that's scary. What if you say, like, no? Like, does she just take that?
I have no idea. I don't live in North Carolina. That being said, because it's such an old bridge, there's a lot of different interpretations of the legend, right?
Yeah.
So that's the most common. But there's also urban legend that if you call her name 3 times, she'll appear and ask you if you've seen her daughter. Mm-hmm. So the calling the name, that's really, like, I feel like a common theme.
Yeah.
Of being like, Helen, Helen, Helen.
Yeah.
You know? There's another version, which I think is the better version.
Oh, no, I'm scared.
It's pretty simple. But Helen was having an affair with the owner of the mansion.
Zesty.
And because no one knew, when Helen became pregnant, she told the owner of the mansion at the time that she was, having an affair with.
Yeah. He
completely rejected her and told her that he doesn't want anything to do with her and that he never wants to see her again.
Yeah.
Kills herself, hangs herself on the bridge. Mm-hmm. And that was done completely out of shame. And that's, like, the more poignant story where she's, like, walking around weeping. Like, you'll hear the crying in the distance. You might hear a baby.
Ugh. No, ma'am.
Yeah. And it's not like there's a lot of through traffic from what was described.
Right, because it's in order to get to
it's from
the mansion.
Yeah. And you can take tours of the mansion. But, again, the mansion's allegedly not haunted. I would be shocked if there wasn't, like, any activity at all, though.
Right.
But that is Helen's Bridge. And much like any urban legend in your own states,
yeah,
I'm sure there are people that, like, it's not. Like, that's an old wives' tale. I mean, but that goes with everything, right?
Right.
But I just thought it was extra disgusting because North Carolina, like, was one of the first states to be populated.
Yeah.
Like, their history is so old. And, like, the idea of, I mean, it's on a mountain. It's a bridge on a mountain connecting the Zealandia Mansion, which has also been called the Castle on the Mountain.
Ooh. Yeah.
So, spooky.
No, that's pretty gross. You did some good ones for us.
Thank you so much. And now we're going to quickly discuss the history of the Bloomingdale Bridge bride, who we're going to go talk to.
We're going to go be around there for sure. Where we are headed is Bloomingdale Bridge. That is in Illinois. And this is a short synopsis because it's not like a huge story. Like, it's not an incredible story like Helen's, but it is a story. So there's a bridge in Bloomingdale that is haunted, said to be haunted. And there are sightings of a teenage girl jumping off of the bridge or walking around underneath it. People have also heard crying and screaming, and it is said that in the 70s, this girl committed suicide by jumping off of the bridge or in front of an oncoming train. The actual reasons are unknown, but the legend is...
speculated.
Yes. The legend is that she broke up with her boyfriend, or her boyfriend broke up with her, and so she was sad. Which, that's one thing I want to talk about. Like, that could be our after chat. Talking about,
the trope.
The trope that, like, these women, it's happened in every single ghost story, every single local lore that we've done, I think, where, like, the woman gets dumped, hurt, embarrassed, and kills herself.
That's why I like when we talked about the woman in black from the Drake Hotel.
Yeah.
Where she did the killing, and she's still there.
Right. Like, either way, you're the ghost, but, like, at least you didn't fucking, like, lose it for a man.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in after chat, available on our Patreon.
Yes. So then there's a little blurb at the bottom of just a little more details. And this person says that it was actually in July of 1977, a girl named Sharon jumped in front of a, eastbound Central Freight.
Whoa.
At 3 a.m. after a fight with her boyfriend. And then another person had commented below this saying that they had actually visited the bridge and there was a shadow of a lady screaming. Horrifying.
Oh.
So,
like a shadow lady? Yeah. Or a shadow of a lady?
A shadow of a lady.
Okay.
I don't, want to go, honestly.
Right. But it is alive.
Local Lore Live. We're here in the studio talking it out. And then in a couple minutes, we're going to go to a bridge. And guess what? Guess what we have? Guess what?
I don't know, audience at home.
We have a spirit box. And we're going to fuck around and find out if they work. And if we're
going to turn it on and something might happen, and that'll be enough for me.
I'm
not asking any questions. Don't call me. That's what I say.
I'm not busting, but you're gonna ask questions.
I'm not asking any fucking questions. I'm gonna stand around.
Yes, you are. I'm not asking questions.
Nope, me neither.
Well, then why do we have the spirit box?
We're gonna talk to each other, and if she wants to participate, she can. After this, we will be back with our experience at the Bloomingdale Bridge.
Talk to you guys soon.
Elevator music.
Do-do-do-do.
Da da da. Da 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 da.
Okay, Deborah, this is our third time doing this. After was much more intense than I expected.
Yeah, because the first one was Congress. This was Rose Hill. The second was Rose Hill. And this one...
I'm still spooked.
We keep doing this where we're like, you know what? It's going to be easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. And
we're not going to find anything.
We're not going to find anything. We're going to, go. It's going to be boring. And then, damn, what are we going to do? We're going to make something up. We did not have to do that whatsoever.
No. Yeah, every time we're like, if nothing happens, we can just like tell ghost stories, because it's fine.
Yeah, we can come back and say nothing happened. And
so here are 2 scary stories that we found or that we have.
So it turns out the bridge is very commonly
used every day.
Yep.
It is a current road. It's an overpass, like you were saying. And a train still runs on those tracks. I was thinking rickety bridge in the forest, which I don't know how I didn't like being in that parking lot. I don't know how I would have gotten out and stood on a bridge where like there was no lights. You know what I mean?
I didn't know why you thought it was that.
I didn't know.
I fully thought it was one of these like
crazy.
she's in the description. It says that Sharon. Oh God, we didn't see a teenage girl. Let's be very clear about that.
We didn't see anything. I wasn't looking. I had my eyes closed.
Kelly was pretty much eyes closed.
I was so scared. I did bad. I'm not a ghost hunter. Walking through the mausoleum, I think.
Oh my God!
I think I need like
a tranquilizer.
Just like 3 months recovery from it, and this happened too quick. You know what I mean? I'm not fully recovered from being around the dead like that.
So we drove over it, and you were like, "This is the bridge."
Yeah.
Yep.
I pass it all the time. I like literally cross that bridge all the time, and now I won't be able to do it at night. So I have before. I'm just like listening to music. Boppity boop boop beep boop boop.
Not thinking.
Not anymore. I'm gonna be like trying to close my eyes over that bridge. I swear, I'll be the new ghost because I'm not opening them. I can't.
So we went at night, obviously.
Such a scaredy cat.
Yeah. But you felt worse here than you did the mausoleum.
I did. I didn't like the vibe. And okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
So the radio was on. We have the spirit box that we graciously are
borrowing.
We're borrowing. My father graciously, or my father-in-law graciously. Well, I don't have one, so he could be the one, I guess.
He graciously let you borrow the spirit box.
He graciously let me borrow the spirit box,
which had been in your home since we were recording.
Yeah. So we met him this afternoon to grab it, and so from that point on, we've had it in our car. We had it in our house this entire time.
It's in a plastic bag.
Yeah, it's in a plastic bag.
With a bunch of other things.
It's all together. Yeah. And so we're driving, and we've got the radio on low, and we're just kind of chilling.
Pointing out.
The spirit box was not on.
Right. You were pointing out that actually it's above a bunch of parking lots, I'll say. I don't want to triangulate.
It's It's by a place that I've parked in that parking lot many times to go into that building. So as we're driving over it, I hear this high-pitched noise, and I was just like,
and I've been hearing a noise too, but Kelly's car is pretty new, so I thought maybe the radio was computery.
I thought it was a commercial.
Sure.
And then we got into the parking lot, and I heard it again, and I was like, are you hearing that that buzz, that high pitch? I was like, are my ears ringing? And then Matt was like, no, I heard
Should I make the noise?
Yeah.
It was like.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like when your ear kind of floats off, and then you hear that distant ringing.
Yeah, the ringing.
It sounded
very that.
So then Matt was like, maybe it's could it be the spirit box?
Oh my God.
We were like,
the
no.
vibe changed immediately in the car.
It could not be the spirit. I can't let it be the spirit box. So he pulls it out, and sure enough, it's high-pitched
You pulled it out, and you were holding it, and then it started going beep.
Yep.
And we all were like, what the? I didn't know it was
Cameras turned on. Which, by the way, we have plenty of footage where we actually caught some cool stuff. So if you want to go see it, that's on our Patreon. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
And your ghostly friends.
And non-binaries.
And non-binary friends. But yeah, a lot of footage. We got out of the car, which if you can believe.
Yeah, for not very long. I couldn't.
So
then we like kind of were driving and we had to do a loop in this parking lot. And as we like were looping kind of away from the bridge.
Trying to figure out the spirit box because that's going off. Like it would not turn off at this point.
That's when it would turn off when we were like kind of going away. And then it turned back on again and we were back driving towards it.
After the loop.
Yeah, and then it would literally not turn off. Could not
got
turn
louder,
it off.
actually.
Yeah, the beeping got louder, and so we're stopped there.
Oh, kind of away so we don't have to look directly at the underpass.
As like this huge, as this loud beepings happening. And then we figured it out, and like by turning on like the radio part, the beeping stopped, which was great and very lucky. And by the way, never beeped again. Have no idea what was causing it.
Yeah, the high pitched beeping didn't happen again. But we were like, the energy had shifted in the car significantly because we had to go back to that spot where we planned on parking with the headlights facing the overpass so that whenever we got footage, you can see that it's behind us. You can see us there.
And I was planning on doing the spirit box outside. Let me say, I thought this was literally like a old towny bridge.
Crazy.
In like the woods, and I was like, okay, we're just gonna like go walk on top of it. Like Matt was prepared to crawl underneath it, and I was like, I don't really want to do that. Like, let's just stay on the top.
There's a very obvious gap where someone has rolled back the fence to get under there, and there's also like downed power lines.
Yeah,
like, it's not exactly. It says danger. Like it's not a safe area. I'm sure kids go down there and like smoke and drink and the whole nine.
Yeah. So we were doing the spirit box in the car, and at first we were just like letting it roll, and then we just started to ask it some questions.
Yeah, I did not feel even half as scared as I thought I would with the spirit box out. I guess like I could just tell. I don't know. I'll speak for myself. It didn't feel evil in any sense. It just felt like haunted, like spooky.
Yeah.
And I will say, when we started asking questions, like, was that you? You know, we started very general, obviously, because we're all fucking afraid and we didn't want to, invite anything.
Yeah.
And
we are not ghost hunters, baby.
Yeah, who are you gonna call?
Not us.
And still don't. Yeah, we have a spirit box.
Yeah, I borrowed it. I don't own it, and I'm definitely not going to like do this as my day job.
That being said, it was communicating.
It was responding to the questions we were asking.
It said Matt's name. In my opinion, I heard it.
Yeah, it specifically was talking to you and Matt.
Yeah,
like, I feel like it very easily responded to you both. I wasn't talking because I was afraid. You'll see that on the camera very easily. I was the one holding the spirit box, and, like, it felt weird. Obviously, it
amped it up.
It is electric. Obviously, it's an electrical device, but it very much felt like a lot, you know? It felt enough to be holding it that I was like, I honestly can't speak. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So,
maybe next time you'll feel more comfortable.
I think maybe someone else will hold it next time.
I'll happily hold it for you.
I do think it definitely is a different vibe.
Yeah, so then Matt and I kind of like agreed and like, well, oh God. There was a lot of things that Matt and I would be like, did you hear that?
Yeah, no, you both would, we were all listening and it was kind of just be like, oh, like at one point it was like, they said talking. And like you guys would just say the word it said at the same time. Yeah. So that was like, you guys agreed on almost everything except for like a couple things, And that was when like it was kind of a blip, It
also is like truly up for interpretation. It's just kind of wild that we were interpreting the same thing for most of the time.
Yeah, like it's not a lot of stuff like that makes sense sticks out. And I will say like a couple times it was just a word, but there were quite a few times where it was like a sentence,
Yeah, or a few words put together.
Yeah.
That side for you, we were describing it in the car when we were just trying to like gather the timeline, that was like the less scary side.
Yeah.
Because we did eventually, and we'll talk about it in a minute, we did eventually go to the other side. But I feel like
caught an orb.
Yeah, there was a lot more activity.
Yeah, and like we got out and we did like a little, we're here, and like it felt gross standing out there.
Kelly was like did not want to stand closer to the fence. Like Kelly felt the vibe.
Yeah. Very vibey, very gross. So, like, I ran around loose, and I, like, stood on the other side of you. I was like, I can't stand over there. I'm so sorry.
And then we got back in the car.
Yeah, we're like, we're done.
Because we didn't do the spirit box outside of the car. I was not.
No.
We were very close to, like, the underpass.
Yeah, like, there's a mashugana there. What's it called? A fence.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously there's, like, a little space in there. And then, like, it's literally the train tracks, you know? Like
a tree line and train tracks.
Yeah, but, like, a tree line you'd have, like, at your house to, like, block your neighbor's view in the summer, you know? So, we get back in the car and we do a little more spirit box, and
that's when I felt like after we got back in the car, it was more responsive.
Yeah, it was definitely responding when you spoke to it.
Yeah,
versus, I mean, before it was
you guys,
just like,
I could, like, ask a question and like literally immediately the radio, I keep calling it radio, but the spirit box would be like,
yeah, it was crazy. And there were times where, like, there was more like amorphous noises that didn't necessarily sound like the white noise of the radio.
Because it would be like,
yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And that's when it, like, felt like really hard to hold it. I was like, I want to be so far away from this thing.
It's overstimulating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, on any ghost show you've seen a spirit box, it's, like, the worst tool
and
that they have.
And they hate it, too.
They do, too. I would hate... Are you kidding? The only thing that can make being in a dark, haunted room worse is just having... Yeah, hell no!
Yeah.
I'd be like, it's in my earphones, guys. Don't worry. I'm like, I'm definitely recording. And then it would be like a podcast to, like, soothe my soul. You're okay. You'll make it out
Deep
of this.
Breaths. Well, we decided to actually go on the bridge and use the spirit box on the bridge.
Yeah, because it's just like you drive. So we used it while we were driving over.
You asked what its favorite color was, and at the end of the bridge, it went, probably blue.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yeah. I like that it was a very gentle. For you, I'm glad that you got a very gentle response for a gentle question.
I know, because you
needed it.
I refused to ask a question, and they're like, ask it. You have to ask it something. And I was like, I can't.
You were the one who was like, are we gonna, like, ask it stuff? Like, you were excited, and then once it was happening, you're not.
I can't.
Yeah, girl.
I have the no Ouija board rule, and that just feels like an electronic Ouija board. You know what I mean?
That being said, we were very like, okay, goodbye. Oh, we're done now.
Right. So we said goodbye when we left the first time, and then we were like, okay, let's go to the other side, because there were, like, parking lots on the other side.
Yeah, we're seemingly more illuminated. We were wrong.
Yeah. The first one we went to, it was dark. There was not a lot of lights back there, but it felt rough. And, like, again, it could be because there was less light.
The first one we went to, it was like the wooded side.
Yeah.
It was
and
only
I straight up was like, Matt, why did you take us over here? And he was like, yes, me too.
And we were like, nah. I couldn't. I literally couldn't. I was like, I'm not willing to do it right here.
I mean, couldn't even look at it.
It was so dark.
I was just staring at you. It was like, because Matt was, like, going around, and I was like, I'm on the exposed side.
Yeah, so we didn't do it there, but we were like, you know what? There's a little spot right there that is more illuminated. Let's go over there.
Yeah.
Turned it on for the briefest second.
Well, that's when we turned it on over the bridge and asked it's blue. Tamara was like, I'm going to ask its favorite color. And I asked it because I was like, that'll be the question I asked.
Yeah, I know.
Stole it.
Because it was a nice, gentle question.
I was just like, okay, that's great. And then we were going, and Matt heard the word husband. And then as we were turning into the parking lot that would bring us close to the, like, opening of the bridge there, it started to say bridge and scared. And
I heard scared.
At the edge.
And the words before it I couldn't understand, but Matt caught, and he thought it said at the edge. And I heard that last word, which was scared.
So that was really scary because it was kind of all on a line. I'm getting spooky tears there in my eyes.
We creeped up to the spot, which was much more illuminated and would have been better.
Oh, my God.
But as we were creeping up, it went, stop.
And we were like, okay, we're done.
Okay,
thank you.
That's enough.
Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Yeah.
And we cried scary tears in the car and reviewed some footage. And again, this footage will be available on our Patreon.
Yeah. But in Luce and Tamara were both taking video of me holding the spirit box as it was going through, and on Luce's, we reviewed Luce's in the car, and there's a ton of stuff flying around, and we were like, it could be dust. And I don't see dust with my eyes, so I was like, it's probably not dust, but
I mean, it
could be.
Yeah, you have a dog.
And there's one, we catch an orb that flies straight through our windshield as we're asking questions.
Past Matt's head, and then there's, in the beginning of the video, there's a ton of other things that are not in mine.
Yeah, and then so we get home, and Tamara looked at hers, and there are no things flying around.
No orbs. You're holding the spirit box. Nothing floating around. And it was dark in the car, right? So I'm using the... You see all that shit?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God.
So that was our live reaction. Is the Bloomingdale Bridge haunted?
I would say yeah.
I would have to agree.
I think the vibe from it's really spooky, and now I'm like trying to think back, going over it and stuff. Like,
have you been there at this time of night though?
Honestly, not really. Like, not when I'm paying attention to like, my surroundings and stuff.
Certainly not in either of those parking lots at night.
To be fair, like driving over there, if no one else is on the road, it's pretty spooky just because like
it's kind of higher up than everything.
It's higher up, and if you look down, you see train tracks and stuff. So like it is kind of like, it is a spot that sticks out in my head and always has, but like I can't say for certain it's because it was spooky or like if it's like kind of a weird bridge, honestly.
So if you have ever been to the Bloomingdale Bridge, or if you've ever lived near there, please write into ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And let us know your experiences living there or like encountering anything. I definitely heard a female voice on the spirit box more than anything. Yeah. And whatever the voice was the one going like, husband. Yeah. Scared, on the edge. Yeah. So, that's... you can call it a coincidence. But these beans in the sheets are going to say that it's haunted.
I know. I feel like we're so, like, drained and, like, fried a little bit from the activity that we got.
That's what kind of that's what kind of happens every time. It's a lot. Your adrenaline's up and you're getting overstimulated now by that thing. Yeah. So, like, again, don't expect us to use that fucking spirit box every single time.
No. I don't think I can handle that every single time. No. So, I can't.
And we were not expecting this to be a big, huge deal on it. Honestly, it was a really good episode.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to see the picture or the video of the orbs, please follow us on Patreon. Become a patron to our Patreon.
Get lots of extra content on there, including our espressos.
Yes. And if you have a ghost story or you want to hear about a specific haunted place in the Midwest, please.
Do you want us to review any kind of coffee?
Yeah. Or just have suggestions or kind words, please email us at ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com. Like us on all the socials, rate and comment on Apple Podcasts and Audible, and tell your friends about us, Oh
yeah, spread the word.
Spread the Midwest
You like ghoul
word.
beans, your friends are gonna like ghoul beans because they're so funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they like spooky stuff.
And even if they don't like spooky stuff, they could get along with two gals talking and having a good time.
We have some not that spooky episodes.
Absolutely. We literally, our next episode coming out
for you guys.
In a couple days that will be after this, but before you hear
By the time you hear this, it will already be out. It's our episode 7.
We're roasting Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
nothing spooky about it. We're good too. Let me meet your friends. So yeah. But yeah, thank you for joining us.
And spilling
the ghoul beans. And listening to our haunted
Dirt chat.
Bye.